2:26.72. Welcome back to the WarmDown Show. This is race day sponsored by Arena. We're here in beautiful Mesa, Arizona at the Mesa Arena Grand Prix. I'm Tiffany Elias, joined by Jeff Commings. Day 3 has come to a close. The meet's over. Jeff, what were your overall thoughts?
I think this was a much faster meet than I thought it was going to be. Just having seen how they were swimming in Minneapolis, Austin, and Orlando, where it was just kind of like, it was fairly fast, but just not like this kind of fast. I was just expecting everybody just to kind of just wanting to just get away from their training for a little bit and just kind of just race. But we saw some really fast times from a lot of people, and I think that kind of has to make them feel good and makes us feel good about what we're going to see at the World Championship Trials.
We've seen some fast times earlier in the meet. Katie Ledecky's 400 stood out. But tonight we saw men's 100 breaststroke, women's 800 freestyle, a couple more events step up. So let's go through it all, starting off with the 200 butterfly. Camille Adams, 209.45, Katinka Hoshu, 210.2, and Catherine McLaughlin, the 15-year-old, 210.56.
That was a really good swim by Catherine. I was really impressed with her. She, I believe she swims with Mission Viejo, and they know how to train, and 200 fly is probably a sprint for her. Showing a lot of promise as a 15-year-old. There's always somebody who really steps up in those events, and I'm hoping we get to see her maybe not in the A final, but in the B final World Championship Trials. Give her a lot of confidence that maybe when she's 18 at the Olympic Trials, she may be pushing for a spot.
Well, she's going for that juniors team, and it's funny because she was a 210 tonight, and I said, what is it going to take time-wise, do you think, to make that team? And she said maybe under 210. Well, you're right there. So she's going to be one to watch over the next couple of years. All right, on the men's side, Tyler Clary, 158.1, Joseph Schooling, 158.8, and Bobby Boyer, 159.8.
I was pleasantly surprised by Joseph Schooling doing so well in that 200 fly. Everybody knows him as the national record holder, high school record holder right now for the 100 fly, but he had really been making his name as a 200 flyer for Singapore. He went to the Olympics and swam that 200 fly, so I think he's got to be really happy with the 158 going forward to being able to swim at World Championships in the 200 fly. He's got to give him great confidence. Tyler Clary, 158 is solid. Very nice time for him. I guess I expected him to be a little more aggressive on that last 50, but like a lot of these people were saying, this last 50 of those 200s are really hurting this week.
Obviously, this meet doesn't mean anything in the grand scheme in as far as placement goes, but Bobby Boyer, he's got to be sick of that third place finish.
I know.
He had the heartbreaking swims at trials with the third place. Although third place here doesn't mean anything, it's still, it would just sting a little bit.
Yeah, I would be. If I were Bobby, I'd be like, I would love to see at least a 2 once in a while, and hopefully for him, maybe this summer in Indy, he'll see a 2 or maybe even a 1.
All right, on to the next event, the 100 breaststroke. Bria Larson, 107.3, Aaliyah Atkinson, 108.4, and Rebecca Edrovic, 109.2.
That turned out the way I thought it would be. I expected those 3 to be top 3. I expected Aaliyah to have a little bit more in the tank, that final 50, and to be able to challenge Bria, especially since Bria has not been doing a lot of long course training. But then I guess after Thursday's 200 breast, where she came back on Caitlin Leverance, I guess I shouldn't be surprised if she had something in the tank. But Aaliyah's been training a lot of long course, been getting ready for this. But I was really happy to see Rebecca do so well too. She's been I wouldn't say a question mark, but I've just been kind of curious how she has been doing since she moved down to Florida to start training.
On the men's side, I think one of the top swims of the night was Mike Alexandrov, 100.63. In for second, E2 Koravonen, 101.97, and Bernard Johnson, 102.6.
Well, I want to start by talking about Mike Alexandrov. Looked so smooth to go 00. I mean, it just really, it looked effortless. And of course, that's the way you want breaststroke to look. But in a 100, usually you see a lot of people being a little more aggressive, a little not choppy, but just really using their power. And he had power, but it looked like it was just really graceful. And I think that really says a lot about what he's been working on, because he has been known as one of those power swimmers. So it's really good to see that. And then for second, E2 Karvinen, I mean, come on, 101.9 for him is really good. He was a 102 6 or 7, I think, coming into this meet. And now he's going to the World Championships in the 50 and the 100 breaststrokes. 101.9 is probably not going to mean much in the scheme of things, so he's going to have to go a lot faster, at least a second faster to even make a semifinal. But he was really happy about going 101.9. Anytime you get a best time, you got to be real happy.
What I thought was interesting about Alexandrov's 100 breast was that he didn't seem that surprised or shocked, or he was happy with his time, but I think everybody here was thinking, wow, that was a great swim, and he kind of acted like it wasn't a big deal. What is a 100 saying to the competitors for posting that time in April?
Well, he's been 00 a lot this season. I think in Austin and in Orlando he went 00, so he's consistent. And maybe he was looking for something faster, but to be consistent, I think has got to make him feel really good, because that means when he goes to the taper meet, I don't think he's gone under, I may be wrong, I don't think he's gone under 1 minute in a textile suit, so I think that'll be a big boost for him. Like I said, that 100 breast is wide open in the United States. So I think it's sending a message that he's the most consistent performer, and that he might be the one that's going to be representing the U.S. at the World Championships.
All right, the next event was the 100 backstroke, and this was one of the closest races of the night. Of course, Missy Franklin came through with the touch, 100.15, but it was close. Rachel Bootsma out first at the 50, 100.54, and Elizabeth Pelton for third, 100.84.
Yeah, I was... That race turned out the way I thought it would. I mean, Rachel Bootsma is known to do that. She did that at the Olympic trials. She went out like a rocket, and Missy just kind of passed her. But, Rachel held on, too, which is not typical Rachel Bootsma. She really starts to fade at the 75, but she didn't. So I think that says a lot about the training at Cal for her. She's really been putting in the endurance to be able to finish that 100. And Missy just somehow has, I was talking with Duncan Scott, it's Phelpsian the way she's able to hone in on that wall and get there first.
What also needs to be acknowledged, talking to Rachel Bootsma after the race, she said she got really sick after NCAAs. So not only is she coming off of NCAAs, which was an emotional and physical meet, then she got sick, and she said she didn't even think she was going to go under a 102. So to be able to post a 101, she was shocked, and the fact that she still had some closing speed, I think she's got a really good one in the tank still.
Yeah, and a lot of people say that they'll expect to do well when they're sick, but we've seen a few instances in history where people have been very, very sick before a big meet, and then they do really well. Most recently, James Magnuson, before his breakout World Championships, he had the flu, I believe, like 2 weeks before, and then he went 47. So I think probably it just really helped her just to kind of maybe just it flushed out her system, all that stuff from the NCAAs, and she was kind of renewed, and probably mentally was probably wanting to prove to herself that, I'm going to go fast. And she's a racer like everybody else, so when the race presents itself, you're going to forget that you were sick.
Right. Well, on the men's side, Matt Grievers came out on top, 54.26, but just in front of David Plummer, 54.28, and Eugene Gatsu, 54.77.
I was surprised about Eugene Gatsu way out in lane one. He was really looked like he was going to challenge for that win. It was really, really close. I'm really happy for David Plummer, too. I talked to him after the race about, the emotion of getting back into it after the disappointment of not making the Olympic team. And he said, he just had to take some time, take it slow, and just kind of make sure that this was the right decision for him to keep training. And I could tell that what he's been doing in Minnesota has been working. 54.2 is a very good in-season time.
All right, next event was the 200 IM. Katinka Hoshu saying, I'm not going to get another second place. You got first place in this one, 2:12.68. Stina Gardell, 2:13.8. And Caitlin Leverance with a strong swim, 2:13.9.
I was really impressed with Katinka's breaststroke, because obviously we know that Caitlin Leverance can catch anybody on the breaststroke. And Katinka really worked her breaststroke. I could see it in the effort that she was putting in, because she knew that Caitlin was going to be there. And when it comes down to it, Katinka really had a phenomenal meet. Not just swimming 9 times, but being able to put up quality times in each of those swims. It's got to be real refreshing for her to know that everything that she's been doing since the Olympics has been going well.
On the men's side for the 200 IM, we predicted yesterday that Ryan Lochte was going to make this his race where he steps up, little morale boost. I think he went for it. He was the leader all the way through the 150, but just fell short to Darian Townsend. 2:01.0 for Darian, Lochte 2:01.9, and Zach Dalby 2:04.72.
It was very good for Darian to put up that challenge, and a lot of people don't know Darian swam in the Olympics in the 200 IM in 2008, so it's not a surprise event for him. I hope he continues to do it in the future because I really do believe he has a great future in the event. It was really good that Darian was able to stick with him because Darian is a consistent performer across all 4 strokes. Like Ryan, he doesn't have a weak stroke. He just needs to work on being as fast as Ryan. And I think something like today really probably gave him confidence that will carry him through the next 3 years. Unfortunately, he's not going to be swimming at the World Championships. He's going to focus on the World Cup this fall. But I think that really had to be a good sign for him that maybe he should not just focus on the freestyle, but continue to focus on that IM.
All right, and on to the last event of the night. It was a distance event. Katie Ledecky with probably my swim of the entire meet in that 800 freestyle. 8:20.63 for Katie Ledecky. And it wasn't even a race.
It wasn't even a race from the start. And, I didn't watch the first 200, and then I turned around and I was like, wow, she's like 20 meters ahead already. And, maybe that's not shocking coming from the fact that at the Olympics she was almost 5 meters ahead of the competition at the 400. But to be able to just swim in your own lane and know that there's nobody there and consistently put up great splits says a lot about her mental toughness. And she probably has to do this and work out a lot too. But to be able to do that when you're like, okay, I know it's my last event. I know, this is the last. I don't have to hold anything back. But to say, let's go for it, push it all the way, and to go 8:20 in season, 6 seconds off her best time in season. She's going to, this is not going to be a surprise to anybody, but she's going to be dangerous in Barcelona.
Now, I have to point out that you did predict earlier with Duncan an 8:25, 8:26, way off, 8:20. How fast is that? And we know it's 6 seconds off her best time, but if you have to make a prediction right now on the spot, where is she going to be at the end of the season?
Well, I was 5 seconds off what she was going to do today, so if I say she's going to break the world record, I think that's safe enough to say. How far under she gets, 8:14, I don't know. I really don't know. But I think she has that in her sight after what she did in London, coming so close. I think it's just the sky's the limit for how far under she's going to get. But I think the world record is definitely going down.
All right, well, behind Ledecky, Chloe Sutton came in second and Andrina Pinto in for third. On the men's side, it was even less of a race. It was Michael Klee out front from the start to finish. His time, 15:28.56.
He's been really doing very well at these Grand Prix meets, and I think that's very important for him because like the 100 breaststroke on the men's side, the men's mile is still wide open. I mean, you think after the NCAA's, Connor Yeager has pretty much got in the bag, but that's not always. I don't think that's necessarily the case. Andrew Gimmel and Michael Klee and Chad Lauderette. Unfortunately, Peter Vanderkay is all done, but I think this is still going to be one of those great miles that we're going to see in Indianapolis on who's going to get the top 2 at the World Championship Trials.
All right, Jeff, that wrapped up tonight's events. Real quick, we have a special guest to join us.
Special guest, Ryan Lochte, showing up here.
What's up?
Ryan, just kind of on a scale of 1 to 10, give us an idea of how a 2 for your meet this week?
Yeah, after the Olympics, I had a great opportunity that came my way. I mean, I got to have my own reality TV show, so anything I do, I'm going to do 110%. So I put all my focus into this show, and I wasn't able to train like I wanted to, but, it was a great opportunity, and now that it's over, I'm going to start getting back into my normal groove.
Well, 2:01 for pretty inconsistent training. You got to be pretty happy with that in your IM.
A week of training, that's not that bad.
Well, I think everybody is really scared to realize that was just off a week of serious training.
Yeah, it was. So, I got about, I think it's someone said 62 days until World Trials. So, there's another 10 days where I'm going to be out promoting the show. And then after that, I got 52 days of where they're going to be the best training days of my life.
Are you the type of person who will have a calendar or something counting it down, or will you just be kind of in your own element?
I'm just going to take one day at a time and go from there.
And looking forward to taper, I'm sure.
I think I might not get taper just because I think this whole year has been taper. So we'll see what happens.
Well, will you taper for at least World Championships?
I hope so.
Ryan,
That means less yardage.
it's a few days out from the show airing. What are you going to do for the big launch?
I'm going to be in New York City with my whole Lochte team, my agent, everyone that's put this together. So it should be fun. Very interesting on what's going to show because I don't know. So I guess stay tuned.
We definitely will, Ryan. Thanks for joining us. Good to see you out here in Mesa, and we're looking forward to seeing the rest of this season. And have fun with the show launch.
Sorry, guys. Sorry for interrupting.
Thanks, Ryan.
We're always appreciative of anybody joining us. Missy Franklin last night, Ryan Lochte tonight. It was a great way to end our WarmDown show, I think.
A great way to wrap up a phenomenal weekend. Overall, I think we're just going to touch on our swim of the weekend, and that's going to do it.
Swim of the weekend. It's got to go to Katie Ledecky, but I don't know if it's the 405 400 free or the 820 800 free. They're both outstanding swims. And like I said, there's probably 99% of people in the world would love to be able to do those swims tapered. You know, you got people like Maria Belmonte Garcia, who's going to be a big challenger for her in the 400s and the 800s. And then you got Camille Mufa, who's going to be a big-time challenge in the 400. But, you know, Katie Ledecky is sending a message that that Olympic gold medal was not a fluke. She is on fire, and there's going to be some amazing things happen. And a lot of people, after the Olympics, like Ryan said, you know, it's kind of unpredictable what's going to happen with them. But Katie got back in, and I think she's going to be on fire, and this just proved it.
All right, well, that is going to conclude race day. Thanks for joining us throughout the course of the weekend. I'm Tiffany Elias with Jeff Commings. First off, we'd like to thank the city of Mesa, put on a phenomenal Grand Prix here. Also, thank you to Arena, who sponsored the event and our race day, and Swimming World behind the scenes. Many people here making this production happen. Once again, Jeff Commings, Jason Marsteller, Shoshana Rudemiller, Brett Rudemiller, Richie Krzyzanowski. Thanks to everyone who made this such a wonderful weekend. You can go online to swimmingworld.com to find all the results and interviews, so make sure to go check those out.
All right, thanks, Tiffany. We'll see you guys
later. See you
later.
next time.